been driving me around block walking. And one time we pull up to this house, and if anybody's ever seen Maggie's car, it looks like a mobile billboard. It's got like 47 stickers on every side of it. So we pull up to this house, and I got my list, and I'm looking at it, and it's got this couple that's like 85 years old. And this guy that's like 45 comes to the door, and he's wearing a yellow t-shirt that says inmate on it. This isn't the guy. I was like, so is Mr. and Mrs. Smith here? And he looks at me, he's like, who? And he looks over at Maggie's car. He says, hang on a second. He walks in the other room, and I hear him shout in the other room. I said, the Republicans are here. So that's Maggie right. But I want to say a special thank you to first of all, my wife. She's Matt talked about this. And it's harder on her than you all know, and it's been a real big burden on her and on me on this. And I just really appreciate all she's done for us and putting up with me. And when I go home and get stressed out and complain to her about all the stuff that's happening to me, she's the one that bears the brunt of the burden when it comes down on me. So everybody give her a round of applause. It really did bring me to tears when Matt was talking about that, because he is right. It is a lot more of a stress on your marriage than most people understand. And it's been an honor to be in this position and to run for this. And I'm so appreciative of everybody that's coming out, Jonathan and Matt, and Tony and Pat that had to leave. But I couldn't do this on my own, but I'm willing to do everything I can to help you all. And when I go door to door, I tell people every day, that the reason I'm running for office and what I think we need is somebody that's willing to fight for our values and go down to Austin and stand up and do what's right regardless of the cost. And that's, they spoke about that, and everything they said falls right in line with what I was going to say. And we need people that are willing to go down there and they don't care what the personal consequences are of how they vote in Austin. Because when you're worried about personal consequences, you're not going to do what's right. Very seldom in this life do we face a decision where we don't know what the right decision is. And if you have to talk yourself into making a vote, probably not the right thing to do. And I'm sure Jonathan can attest to that. But I got some good news though, and that's we're winning this war. Look at Jonathan. They threw everything they had against Jonathan and Matt, everything they had, and we mopped the floor with them. And then Tony and Matt Rinaldi, they spent $930,000 against Matt Rinaldi, vying for only 9,000 votes total in the race, and they still couldn't beat it. Liberty is winning in Texas, and it's because we have true conservatives that are willing to go out there and actually do what is right. I started this race as somebody which they said that he couldn't win. Nobody believed we could win. In fact, even some of my biggest supporters didn't believe I could win at the beginning. And I had no money, no connections, but I had an idea, and that was the idea that we needed a representative that cared what the people thought and that did what was right regardless of the consequences. So I started block walking. And since then, we've shown them that we can win, and we are going to win this. We were outspent 3-1 almost in the primary, and we still beat them by 10 points. And I'll tell you why we beat them by 10 points. And that's because voters don't care what house you live in or how much money you have or what car you drive. They care about whether or not you're going to go down to Austin and fight for their rights. They care about whether or not you believe a representative is supposed to represent the people and not the special interests in Austin. And my opponent does not represent the people. We're not going to take anything for granted, though. We're still out door knocking. We're still out working. And I appreciate everybody's support. Please, if you can help, do help, because we need all the help we can get. The lies and the smear tactics, they're already coming out, and there's going to be worse, and there's going to be more. Of course, I do imagine that it is probably hard to get people to vote for you if you're backed by the pro-abort Whitney Davis supporters and Obamacare people. It's probably hard to get people to vote for you on your own merit, so I understand why they're smearing me. But it's a good sign, though. And as everybody all the representatives that have been through this can tell you, they smear you when they're scared to death. And they're scared to death. because they know that they can't go out and beat us just by telling people how great they are because they got a big house and a nice family and a whole bunch of money and a whole bunch of liberal PACs backing them. I've knocked on over almost 7,000 doors during this campaign. And I can honestly tell you that I think I've probably talked to more people in this district than any other person on earth in the last 5 months. But what that means, and this sounds arrogant, but I know better than anybody else in this district what the people actually think because I have talked to them. And I'll tell you what they think. They think that we're going down the wrong path. And when I talk to someone, the first thing I say is, my name is Philip Beebe. I'm running for Texas State Representative. And the reason I'm running is I'm sick and tired of having people tell me all the right things and not do it when they get elected. And the overwhelming response is, exactly. And the next thing I say is that, as sad as it is, the Republicans are just as guilty as everybody else. And the overwhelming response is a head shake and exactly. And we have got to start standing for liberty or we're going to lose this nation. And I have seen the future of this country, and it's right here in Texas, guys. And if we don't stand and fight for Texas, we're going to lose everything. This is where it's at. This is the front line right now. You know, I didn't give up 1.5 years of my wife and my life. I didn't put my marriage to the stress that it's in because I want to have my name in lights, all right? I'm not making any money while I'm doing this. And I'm not going to make squat for money down in Austin because I want to take the lobbyist money, and I'm pretty sure I ain't going to get it offered to me very often. I'm doing this because I refuse to make children 30 years from now look back and ask, Mom, Dad, what was it like when there was freedom in our land? What was it like when we were the greatest nation on earth? Because if we don't change the course that we are on, it won't be the greatest nation in 30 years. We are heading for hard times, and we need people willing to deal with those hard times and willing to put themselves on the line for those hard times. I'm willing to do that because it's bigger than me. I get asked regularly, and Jonathan's probably been asked the same thing. I'm sure Matt and Tony did too. What's going to keep you from getting corrupted? I'm sure you've heard that. You know, okay, you say you're a great guy. Everybody says they're a great guy. What's going to keep you from getting corrupted? And I'll tell you what, the reason is because most guys, they go down there with a good idea, but it's about them. And if it's not in your heart, if it's not bigger than you, then you are going to get corrupted. And I have somebody bigger than my voters that I have to answer to. And if you're not prepared to defend your votes before God, then you probably shouldn't make them. That's my opinion. So, I appreciate all your support. Thank you everybody for this to come out, and it's overwhelming to have so many people come out in support of me. And like I said, I've seen the future of the country, and it's here in Texas. And if we want to save our nation, the time is now. So for Texas and liberty, let's go win this. Thank you.